Laurentian Tides. How y'all doing?
Good.
Awesome. Feeling good.
Fantastic. Let's just start by having you guys introduce yourself.
I'm Richard Doug. I do the percussion.
I'm Billy Hughes. I play guitar.
I'm Alejandro Aguirre. I'm the vocals.
Hey, I'm Kenny. I play the bass.
All right, thank you.
Just Kenny.
So you have a new album coming out tonight.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it what you wanted it to be? Are you guys happy with it?
Oh, I'm ecstatic about it.
No.
Yeah, we were in the audio engineer that helped us, the production studio that helped us. They let us be a part of the process the entire way, and helped us say, well, how do you want this to sound? How do you want this to sound? Didn't really step on our toes when it comes to, well, you need to really change the way that this is written, or this goes on too long. He let us write whatever we wanted to write, and he recorded what we wanted to record. So he was very supportive in that.
Okay. Walk us through that whole process of writing and recording. Where'd you guys do that? How long did it take? All that kind of thing.
I mean, we've had a lot of these songs for years, years and years, before the first album even came out. But we knew these new songs were they wouldn't mesh with the first album. The first album had its own organic sound. This one was growth. So with this second album, we basically, we had a whole album ready.
Yeah.
Months before we even considered recording.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, with this album, we kind of learned from our last release. With our last release, we just got really excited and just we got it and we're like, all right, boom, there it is. And we didn't put a lot of promotion behind it. And with this one, it felt right because we had months to build up the hype, get a couple singles out there. So in that aspect, it just felt better.
Okay.
And yeah.
Do you write together as a band? Do you each write separately and then come together and hash it out? How does that all work?
I find that it works best when Rich is always creating, just always creating. And, as a guitar player, I never, I'm riffing around, just making noise, but I've never met someone that is so, he has things mapped out, his drums will be mapped out, and I'm perfect, this makes writing a song easier for me, because then I'm just boom, I can make a little transition part into this, because he's going to be going softer on on the hi-hats and blah blah blah, all that. But we kind of just make some music. Andro's always around listening, getting ideas going, and
I always have to wait till the song is completely finished. Everybody's happy with their parts, because if you're not happy with your part, I know it'll eventually change, and that can change the dynamic, especially vocally. Okay. So I have to wait till everybody's just content, and then I'm able to jump on, and that's where it takes forever.
But there's plenty of times where I'll come up with an entire piece. Billy will add something, and he'll give me suggestions. Hey, change this. Shorten, lengthen, do whatever. Then Handro will come in with his vocals, and we'll turn things over, swap phrases. So it's just not, I come up with something, Billy adds to it, and Handro layers on top of it. It's totally organic, and everyone has 100% input throughout the entire time. Everyone says, we feel this should be going up, we feel this should be going down, and we just bounce the ideas off of each other. And then by the time we get done with the song, it's okay, is everyone happy? All right, next tune. And then we move on to something else. So
we always go, next song.
Next song.
So as Alejandro is the vocalist, are you the lyricist as well, or is that a group effort as well? You are? Okay. We'll come back to those in a little bit. Can you guys take me back to the beginning of Laurentian Tides? How did the band start? What's the story behind the band?
2013? 14?
Something like that.
Sometime around 2014, I had many of years of hiatus off from I used to play drums on stage, bands, everything. Totally different genre, totally different crowd. I wanted to get back on stage. I wanted to do something hard. So I got out on Craigslist, started looking for random individuals, many tryouts, many failures, came across this guy. And then we added like many more tryouts of bassists and vocalists. People came, people went. We started off with a different band name. We had a few different songs. And so just people came and went. He had a family thing. He had to leave for a little bit. Then he came back. But within that time that he was gone, he had come along. We had a different bass player that's actually on the album, Tom. Still love you. Tom Chappell is the bassist on the album. Tom Chappell is the bassist on the album. And so he was always, he was a mainstay for many years. So he's a big part of this album. But things changed in his life. And it was his time to vacate, and we were fortunate enough to find Kenny within weeks, within days or weeks.
Hopped in,
and
got
boom,
it down.
He was an instant fit.
It felt like we were cheating.
I know.
Like Tom knew we were looking because he gave us the heads up that he was planning on leaving. But at the same time, when we practiced with Kenny, we're like, I guess I like him, but
I felt so dirty.
yeah.
There was like one practice where he was there and I was there, and it was a little, I could feel a little tension.
But it wasn't between Tom and him. It was just all of us like, oh, fuck.
like,
Yeah.
Tom was fucking great the whole way through, and he showed me a lot of his bass line. I did change a lot as far as what we do live now, but he showed me when he played, he was super nice the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I wish he could be here for this, honestly.
Yeah, we tried to get him out here, but you know he's got his whole life going on.
So yeah, started off as a totally different band, merged into this. People came and people went, and now this is the crew.
So in 2 decades from now, people will look back at the famous Laurentian Tides and think this is the classic lineup.
Hopefully,
Fingers
provided
crossed.
none of you leave.
I'm not going anywhere. Shit.
I'll
let you guys kick me.
I always promise I was the first one in. I'm going to be the last one out. So now it's up to these guys. So.
Well, no, we can't find anybody to play your drum parts.
I know,
Like,
right?
That's asking a lot. All right.
What would you say are the key influences of your sound?
I mean, for me, Tool, Deftones. I mean, I'm self-taught, and the way I learned how to play guitar was just learning Tool riffs, and it kind of worked out perfect for this band because, you know, timing, and I didn't realize that what I was playing was like off, you know, like time signatures and, you know,
Progressive type of stuff.
And he's all into that, and it just worked out perfect. So, but yeah, Tool, Deftones, Mudvayne.
That's a good one.
What about you guys?
I was always a fan of like classical composers, Stravinsky and stuff like that. It's where I crafted my style, but I grew up on like Faith No More and Jane's Addiction, and I'm a drummer, so shame on me. I didn't even listen to Tool until this guy came into the picture, and he's like, well, dude, you got to check out The Pot, you got to check out 10,000 Days. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a failure at life. And I never gave that album a chance, and I listened to it, and I was spitting, and then that just totally recrafted everything that I thought I was gonna do, like a Porcupine Tree type of progressive, somber, melancholy, I'm so depressed type of stuff. And but he came along, showed me Tool, I'm like, nope, I'm doing something else. I went on a totally different rampage. And then, after a number of people came and went, then we came across this guy with his own influences.
Candiria, Nothing Face, American Head Charge, Mudvayne. Everybody loves Chad, man. Those were like my big influences growing up. Even a local band called Defying Nature, and nobody's ever heard them. So
I haven't heard of it.
nope, it's just for me. It's in my heart. Love them to death, and that's basically like what I came to the party with. And then once we got Kenny involved,
Taylor Swift, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Cardi
my
B,
God.
huge Taylor
We never hear the end of it.
yeah.
Swift. I still want to do that doom metal cover of Blank Space. It's slow enough, you can make it heavy enough.
I'd be about it. Really.
Yeah. How much fun would that be?
You guys want to hear that shit?
Yeah, see?
100%.
2 votes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
2 votes.
So tell me about a term that I've seen on some of your social media, Tribalcore. Where does that come from? What is that?
Well, I'm always trying to think of different ways to describe us, and yeah, we have that progressive metal stuff, and a lot of the bands out there are describing themselves as metalcore or postcore or progcore, and there's a number of core bands that I like and gent bands that I like, and so we take those influences, but also I'm very, me personally, when I write, I'm very culturally based. I love Australian music, Chinese cultural music, just tons of places, Middle Eastern type of stuff. And so I always try to tend to bring in those rhythms, those tribal, fundamental, humanistic, cultural rhythms, where everyone else is just doing blast beats. I'm trying to bring back a little bit of worldly culture into it. And so so a lot of our stuff winds up having some kind of tribal feel here and there. It gets to metal, it gets to progressive, it gets melancholy, and then it gets tribal, and then it gets progressive again. So it's a kind of a in and out. It's like, to me, tribal was a big part of it. So I was just trying a new catchphrase, and if it goes around the world and people start catching on to that phrase, awesome.
Tribalcore.
Tribalcore.
What he said.
Let's see if we can help with it. So the new album's called In the Wake of the Great Collapse. I have that correct?
Yeah.
Now we're on to the lyrics. Tell me about what this is about lyrically and thematically.
Well, honestly, it's a lot to do with self-realization, not just within like you yourself or me, but society.
Okay.
There's a lot of bits of that just acknowledging what people are afraid to acknowledge within themselves. Like, we've all done things we're not proud of. We've all done things that, like, just, you look back and it hurts, you know?
Right.
And, like, it's bits and pieces where it's, like, talking about society and then me and myself and how, like, realizing things that, like, I should have done differently.
Okay.
And it's gotten a little more personal than the last album. But at the end of it all, it's basically like the beginning of more. Like, this album is something that I know is gonna be a part of something bigger. Because writing beyond this album, like, it's like a continuance. And I like to look at it like a near-death experience. Like, if you see that light flash before your eyes, are you gonna be happy with what you see? Kind of thing.
Did you find it cathartic to write that?
Yeah. There's a lot that, like, I was in mid-writing, because I don't write when we're all together, and I don't write listening to our music. I find the phrasing style I want,
Okay.
but in the end, I don't listen to anything. I just sit in silence and just write, and whatever manifests is what the lyrics come about. So there's a lot of parts where I'm like, oh shit. You know?
Tell me about the album art. Who designed it? How do you think it speaks to the... Who designed it?
Yep.
He's the guy, like, whenever we have anything visual,
Okay.
it's like he seems to have the better scope of what we can achieve visually, and so it's like, hey, we need a photo, we need a flyer. He's like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. I'm not sure what it is. I like the
album cover.
colors, the way it all fits, but I'm not sure what that is.
Well,
on the
actually,
cover.
that we were originally gonna have a portrait. It was public domain. It was called "The Fall of Man," and like, I have a habit of, like, messing around with different ways of, like, portraying whatever, you know, like, that picture looks cool, let's fuck with it, you know? And that actually is something that just, like, came about. I even looked at you and was like, that'd be kind of cool for a sticker, you know, and that was it. And then they were both like, that's the album right there, like, that's the album cover. And so, like, it's basically, I mess with stuff, see what they think,
I always thought it was kind of like a Stranger Things vibe to it, you know?
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I never.
Like you're like looking, you can like open it almost, you know? Yeah.
So we called that the Apocalypse Blossom.
Okay.
So.
So have you guys been, you at least have been in other projects? Have you guys been in other musical projects?
I was in a black metal band when I was 16 called the Black Aura.
Okay.
And it was a good time. It was a good time. We played with the Red Chord and Himsa and a bunch of those bands. And it was, I sound way different now.
I was in like a little instrumental band in high school, but this is the most serious, you know. I had a chance to play for a rapper opening for Snoop Dogg.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
That would have been awesome,
yeah,
man.
it fell through.
Believe it or not, I came from a Dave Matthews Bare Naked Ladies
Oh, no way.
style genre. From a band called The Green Room, and we even played the Winter Olympics in 2002. We were out in Salt Lake City, but we didn't play the celebrations. We played the events. So 3 o'clock in the morning, negative 30 degrees. We were out where like one of the competitors. He had that cinnamon roll kind of a downhill competition thing that he did, and his move was called the cinnamon roll and whatnot. But we would play the actual morning, the events, in really cold temperatures. But yeah, so I was in a really a totally different genre.
We were in 6th grade.
Yeah. You know, why do you gotta bring up age? It's always age with you.
Shit,
Damn.
I've been all over the place. Last band I was in, Death Abides, was more like blues metal.
Yep.
And then before that, it was this bluesy rock band called Deep Enough,
Okay.
which I still love the name.
Never heard that.
Copyrighted.
Oh my god. That's a good one.
Yeah, I hope they copyrighted it because that's gold. Thrash metal before that, like a lot of just open notes, rattle on the bass. Like, I kind of love finding a progressive band. I can get some other styles in there, get a little funky here and there, have some fun with it. It's great. Like when I joined the band, I learned some of the basic chord structures from the old bass player Tom. Like really great guy. He worked me quite a bit. Like it was awesome.
Yeah, they were
And then I just took my own interpretation on it, and it's still kind of changing over time. But I'm having so much more fun with these guys than I did with the last few bands.
That's awesome. How have you guys developed yourselves as musicians?
Well,
Personally,
when I
or just
started
since-
playing with Rich, I had to go back to math class. So there's that. It's been a long time since I've read music, but
I don't know.
What's that time for
now.
I feel like it's like an ongoing process. Like you don't really realize that you're progressing musically, you know, because you're just trying to make better sounds, you know. But like, I don't. At least for me, yeah. I don't go in like trying to be like I need to be better than this last. You know, if I did that, I'd get nothing done. I just kind of just, you know, rip a joint and start playing. You know?
Go where the music takes you.
Yeah.
I just like to try to be better than the last song.
Yeah.
Some kind of concept, but yeah, I was like, I came up through music theory and composition classes and all the classical orchestra type of stuff, but obviously progressive music is slightly a different beast, and trying to show these guys what can possibly happen. But it's like I mentioned before, it's just not my gig. I come out there with an idea, they say, hey, simplify it, bring it down, you got some good things, we'll do that later. So, I mean, I feed off of them. If they say, we like what you're doing here, let's do that at the end, I'm like, okay, we can do that. So it's just not like my thing where I put so much math up front. I put out ideas, they tell me yay, nay, flip it around, put it later, put it earlier, bring it down, whatever. And so kind of a segue is, what I like is that no one person really has any kind of like, this is the way I want it, this is how it's going to be. If he comes in with lyrics and he says, what do you guys think? if we say, well, we could use a different words, and if he's like, nope, I like these words. Okay, that's his choice. He gets ultimate say at what he wants. Same thing here, but like,
Has that ever happened?
I'm just,
Well, no, 'cause
I'm saying like, none of us are.
we never know what you're saying until the album comes out.
I know, right? We're just not
It's too
dictators.
late.
The lyrics version of the video. I have no idea.
None of us go in controlling every single part of it. This is what I want. This is how it's going to be. It's like, what do you guys hear? Where does it go for you? How does it form?
Because when like we'll be listening to like what we just recorded, and we'll be like, oh damn, dude, I like what you're saying right there. Now it'll be like, dude, I've been saying that for like months, and it's like, well, now I can hear it, you know.
Screamo kids, I tell you, man.
Kids in general.
The kid-
So what's next? Any touring in the works? Are you starting to write new music already? Are you taking a breather?
Well, hopefully we can start setting up our own kind of mini tour. It's a little bit too soon to really like, oh, we're just going to go everywhere. So we got to be smart about it.
Sure.
But we would like to start getting out and getting into other states, definitely. But we've been doing these songs long enough that parts of us are like, we really want to write a few more new tunes. So that's kind of an ongoing,
Which
write
we'll be
new
playing
stuff,
tonight.
play
we
more.
got two new ones that we'll be playing tonight. So.
And I mean, like, I just want to, for me, like, I don't care, like, how many streams we get or how many people buy the album or whatever. Like, I just want the opportunity to play with some bigger bands and just progress our way up with bigger shows, you know, and, like, just play to more people. Because that's what we got to do right now. It's just, we got to show people what we're about, you know.
So
I don't mean to sound conceited, but if I could quit my sandwich making job and just play bass for a living, I'm gonna fucking take that opportunity.
it would be a beautiful thing with that.
I may be a sous chef, but I've got grander things in mind.
Who are you kidding, dude? You're going to be making sandwiches for us on the road.
I know.
By the way, I'm hungry, so you have a second.
If they'll let me in the back, shit.
There's the kitchen. There's the kitchen here. So.
So
I was looking at that.
take Tool out of the equation because I know at least half of you are going to say Tool. If there's one band that you want to open for, not Tool, who would it be?
Gojira.
Ooh,
Good choice.
That would be a fucking cool show.
I want to steal it. Mastodon.
Okay.
Ah, got you.
Deftones is such a big
Deftones.
part of my musical, you know.
Baroness.
Oh.
I love Baroness.
Man.
I've seen him twice.
I've seen him 3
Great
times,
time.
not to brag,
Yeah,
but I've
the
seen him 3
OGs.
times. But when they come
shit.
through Grand Rapids on May 2nd, I'm out of town that weekend and I'm mad about it.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. I gotta
Yeah,
go.
it's a dual headlining tour with Against Me at the intersection.
We got
Okay.
we have a show that same day. Don't worry about
May
it.
2nd.
No, I don't know.
Maybe you could open for
I
it.
can't make it.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good then.
And then like, we need, and that's another thing, like with progressing ourselves, like we just want the opportunity to meet the people we need to meet where they could be like, hey, we'll put you on this show, you know, things like that. Because like,
Networking, contact.
that's the biggest thing, you know, with us.
Yeah, big shout out to Let It Rod. Those guys are awesome. They think about us, we think about them. They brought us out to Lansing, we brought them out to Grand Rapids. Like, these guys are awesome.
Yeah, we fucking love them.
Yeah.
Any last words?
That
Anything else we
sounds
should know?
Listen to
scary.
the album and let us know what you think, you know?
Okay.
Pay for it, download it, YouTube it. I don't give a shit.
listen.
Give us a chance.
Yeah, that's all we can ask for is a shot.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck on stage tonight.
Thank you.